Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, what is going on? It's your boy SalvationsElite. We are back with another video, guys, and today, man, the Modern Warfare reveal finally happened. Multiplayer reveal finally happened. We finally got to see it on Courage, TeePee, LEGIQN, and Syndicate streams, and we got to watch them play it all out. And as you guys are seeing, you guys are already seeing gameplay right here, boom, right down below. Watching all this, I just recorded Courage's stream, so thank you, Courage. Shout out to Courage for the content. I appreciate you. I wanted to show you some of the gameplay that they were getting. If you guys want to see the full gameplay with all the audio, go check out his stream, VODs, or on his YouTube channel, I'm sure. Today, we're going to go through everything we know about it. I'm not going to spend as much time on that because I know a lot of you guys are going to watch other YouTubers or other videos or read up on articles about what we know about the game so far. So I'm just going to quickly go through that, and then we're going to talk about how that potentially will affect competitive moving forward in Call of Duty. So overall, that's what we're going to talk about today. But there was some awesome stuff in this reveal and this gameplay overall. And, you know, a few negatives or a few things that I'm a little concerned about moving forward. I know there's a lot of mixed reviews about this game overall, and some of you guys are really worried about it. I've seen the complaints on Twitter and Reddit and in YouTube comments already. But I think people might be overreacting just a little bit, considering we've only seen like 10% of the game at most. Like, to preface all of what we're going to talk about today. So we haven't seen any actual maps. We've seen no game modes. We've seen no score streaks. We've seen no perks. And we've only seen some like random attachments on guns. We haven't even seen like actual like loadouts in a whole. So when it comes to like the chunkier movement that people are talking about, that I mean, I kind of thought that as well originally, but I thought about it. I'm like, okay, it only makes sense. Like think about Black Ops 4, which is a really smooth game in general when it comes to movement. Think about how Black Ops 4 feels with no dexterity, no lightweight, and no stocks on any guns. You know, like it's a lot chunkier at that point too. So I don't want to like judge the game too early on. The other thing that was actually mentioned as well when it came to like what the game looked like, Joe Seacott or Seat, I'm not sure how you pronounce it, but he's the design director for Infinity Ward. He said that there's going to be 2 motion blur options. I'm sorry, I'm reading my notes over here. That's why I'm looking to my right. 2 motion blur options. One for the gun and one for like the world around you. So you can turn off motion blur, which should help the game feel a little bit more clear and less chunky as well. There is a little bit more like bop, like with the movement, like it's like guys like bopping up and down a little bit more, like the screen bops a little bit more than like current CODs. And that's why some people thought it felt like Rainbow Six or Battlefield, because there's more of like that bopping movement when you're running, or even like Apex Legends. There's a lot of bopping in Apex Legends as well. I'm not too concerned about that. Obviously, it just depends on how the jump shot, drop shot, sliding, and sprint feels. So anyway, let's just go through everything that we know at this point, and then we can talk about it all and how it affects everything. So they did say that August 1st would be the full multiplayer reveal, and so we'll see everything at that point, and where we'll actually be able to see the actual multiplayer and maps and perks and score streaks and everything else. So don't get too worried about that at this point, because it's a little bit later than normal, obviously, considering the beta is normally like mid-August, late August. So we'll see when that ends up actually being, but we're gonna get that whole reveal August 1st. First thing I noticed obviously was like there was no like HUD for the most part. There was no mini map, which was really interesting. We don't know if that's just going to be in the 2v2 mode or if that's going to be in the actual multiplayer mode itself. We don't know that yet. Obviously, there's a lot of differences with the 2v2 mode versus normal multiplayer. In 2v2, you can't heal yourself. There's no health regen. There is a stim perk, apparently, that it was in one of the random classes that they used in the game today, but that's not like a default setting, and it's not in the multiplayer. The multiplayer is health regen automatically, as we've been told multiple times, so we don't have to worry about that. There is sliding, and there's 2 options for sprints. There's like a jog and then like a sprint. There's like a slower sprint and a faster sprint. I'm not actually sure how that works yet, but Courage and TeePee like quickly talked about it. Besides that, we don't know too much else about the sprinting options, but as you guys are seeing in the game, they'll like sprint a little bit and then they'll fast sprint. At some point in Courage's gameplay, you saw like he like quick sprints and then slides around a corner. So there is still some option to be able to do stuff like that, which is why I still think there's going to be, you know, advanced movement in some sort in competitive where it's still viable to use like some type of slide around the corner or something like that. It's not going to be anywhere near as spammy or cracked as Black Ops 4, which I know some of you guys love Black Ops 4, and I really do like Black Ops 4, but the cracked quote-unquote movement of Black Ops 4 isn't like a necessity for Call of Duty, I don't think. So there is like quite a bit of recoil on the guns, and the guns don't feel like they have like predictive recoil. That's not confirmed yet, but just from like watching the gameplay, it definitely doesn't feel like there's like predictive recoil, considering it felt like pretty random, like the guns would bop like left, right, up, down, like, you know, pretty weird. At one point, Courage was trying to snake. If you guys don't know what snaking is, it's like crouching and going up to head glitches. If I can find the clip, I'll put it right here. If not, maybe you'll see it at some point. I don't know. I'm not sure. Anyway, he was trying to snake. I'm not sure how effective it was because we didn't see it from the other person's point of view, but he was trying to snake. So I don't know how that's going to play. Hopefully that's not a big deal and doesn't really work very well, considering how annoying snaking was at the beginning of World War II. And also, there's like a mounting feature, so it's the leaning feature, but the thing is you can't lean all the time. You're only leaning around corners, basically, and you can mount onto ledges and any edge in the game. So like on top of things, on the edge of things, like on lamp posts, apparently you can ledge on it, so you can like lean to the right of the lamp post or whatever it is. So like it's not as like leany as what some people were saying. I don't think it's going to be used that much, maybe just in search and destroy to peek corners for like snipes and stuff like that. But it's not going to come into play that much with like hardpoint, I would doubt. I mean, maybe you mount on top of like the top of something to gun people down, like on a on a heady or a long line of sight in hardpoint. But I don't think it's going to affect things that much in general. So, and like the mounting feature is interesting for competitive, but you know, I don't know how big of a difference it's going to make. But so far, my favorite thing about the game was the game sound. The sound of the game is insane. It's so nice. I'm gonna play a clip real quick, kind of show off the game sound, because I thought this was a really cool moment where I was like, oh wow, that sounded really cool. That sounded real nice. So here's the clip where I thought the game sound was awesome.
Nading it. Pushing. Pushed out. He's weak. Couldn't bang it. I threw my nade too far. Right rock, you see him?
What? I don't know. Guess to go to the flag.
Nice shot.
Couldn't see him that whole time, man.
Oh man, so like just like the bullets bouncing off the metal of the car and off of the shipping container in the middle were so nice, and I love that clip so much. And just the weapon sounds are just real crisp as well. Overall, I really like that about the game. That's one of my favorite things so far, is the aura, the vibes of the sound that it creates. So I'm really liking that. So when it comes to weapons, I'm going to read off what we had confirmed in this gameplay. This is like 100% officially confirmed. We have the 725 secondary shotgun, the Model 680 shotgun, the FAMAS, the AUG, the MP5, the MP7, the SCAR H, the Deagle, the M14 tactical rifle, the M91 LMG, the AX50 sniper, and then we had Semtexes, we had nades, we had Molotovs, concussions, and Drifter did say that there was also a P90 and a level action sniper rifle, because all of those YouTubers who went to go test out the campaign actually played the multiplayer as well. They played this 2v2 mode and some other stuff which they can't yet talk about. So they're finally releasing all that they know about the 2v2 modes. One thing that they said was really cool is that there's actually a bracket system inside of the game. We don't know how far this extends, like if this works with game battles or competitive or some sort, but at least when it comes to the 2v2 mode, you can actually create brackets inside the game itself, and they said they were playing like 20 team brackets or more inside the game, 32 team brackets, you know, all the way up to like a lot of teams inside of a bracket, all inside of the game itself. So that's pretty cool. Anything that creates a competitive atmosphere inside the game is good and beneficial for esports in general. So hopefully that's a good sign for competitive Call of Duty in some way, and a cool feature regardless. So finally, that kind of goes through everything that we know about the game at this point. That was officially confirmed through this gameplay. If I missed any of the guns, drop them down in the below. I don't think I missed any of them. I went through and checked to make sure I got them all, but maybe I missed one or two. If they did, just like I said, drop them in the comments and let me know. So when it comes to competitive, this is what we got. I mean, again, we haven't seen maps, we haven't seen anything. Like I said, when it comes to like we're actually going to talk about, obviously from what we saw, it feels like it's going to be slower paced, and a lot of the pros were already talking about that. Aches had some opinions, so here are these tweets from Aches. And like I'm sure a lot of the guys can have their opinions. Killa is already talking about how he's going to be back his old school style play, you know, and like, you know, the competitive Reddit's already talking about making jokes about methods and Aches and, you know, Killa and all these, you know, the Chino, the slow playing ARs or whatever, the slow playing players, how they're gonna be gods in this game. Again, we have only seen a 2v2 mode on puny little maps that kind of encourages slow play. We haven't seen hardpoint yet. We haven't seen other respawn modes. We haven't seen like a CTF or the reverse CTF that was talked about. And I'm sure I'll talk about that in a future video at some point. So there's so much that we haven't seen yet. I'm still very optimistic about competitive Call of Duty on this game. I think a potentially really fast-paced version of what we saw would be really fun. And I think hardpoint should be pretty fast-paced. I'm not sure why people are so worried. It's not like World War II. I personally really enjoyed the search and destroy on World War II. And this game, worst case scenario, is at the same speed as World War II. There's no way it's going to be slower than World War II, just based off the movement that we're seeing so far. So I really don't think there's as much to worry about as people are worrying about so far. The guns are awesome. All the guns are fantastic. And based off those maps were really cool that they played for a 2v2 mode. I have more confidence now that the modes that we're going to see for competitive or for multiplayer in general are really nice. And from the leaks that we've heard about score streaks, they sound really cool. And I just haven't reported on those because, I don't know, I'm not a big fan of leaks. But now that we know that all these YouTubers have played it, I believe the leaks even more now. I think they might have played the full multiplayer mode, considering how Drifter was talking in his video that he just posted like an hour ago. So again, overall, I'm really excited about this game. I think the gameplay is really optimistic. And for those of you who say it looks just like Rainbow Six, or it's like, you know, Call of Duty Rainbow Six Siege Remastered, like, I really don't think it is. If you guys go watch Rainbow Six gameplay, it's significantly different. So obviously at the end of the day, it's going to be slower than Black Ops 4. Like, duh, we all expected that. Black Ops 4 is an extremely fast-paced Call of Duty, and especially with the map sizes and how the game plays, the movement, the cracked aiming, the sliding around corners, the dexterity slides, the cameraing. Like, there's a lot of fast movement in the game in general. So I didn't expect the game to be, like, insanely fast. I was expecting something slower. So overall, I personally really enjoyed it. I'm pretty optimistic moving forward. I was a little nervous at the start because I also thought it was going to look a lot like Rainbow Six, but as we went along and saw more of it and saw more guns and how the gameplay worked in general, I'm not worried at all. I think it's going to be really fun. They still have the throwing knives. They still have all that type of stuff. So overall, I think the game should be played a lot like Call of Duty. People who are saying that it looks nothing like Call of Duty, I'm not really understanding that take at all. So I get that it's different. It's obviously a lot different, and it's going to play differently, but it still, to me, feels like Call of Duty and looks like Call of Duty. And the only thing that's a little weird is the coloring of the HUD, which I think is the biggest thing why people think it looks like Rainbow Six, because those colors of like the scoreboard and of like the things in the corner, that is what kind of looks like Rainbow Six to me. But it's not the gameplay or the guns or anything else. So overall, guys, there's a lot to go over here. If you guys have any other questions about it, drop them down below. I'll answer them as much as I possibly can. The community tournament is on Sunday, 3:30 Eastern time. We got the rosters confirmed. We're working through subs right now. If you're still interested in playing, we might still have some substitution spots available. So in the description, there's a link to Discord. You guys can join and sign up there if you guys still want to play. So as always, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. We're going over it all and talking about everything. So if you guys did enjoy it, like, comment, and subscribe. Share the video if you guys really enjoy it. I'm trying to do this long term. I'm doing it full time right now, for at least temporarily, and then hopefully Modern Warfare really works out well for the channel, and we can do it long term and do it for a long time to come. As always, guys, your boy SalvationsElite, and we will see you next time. I'm out.